What you're about to learn is powerful, so do not underestimate it. These are transformative, state-changing effects. You are going to learn how to invisibly change the state of a playing card at your fingertips, freely named, signed, and from any deck. And your target won't even know that the transformation has happened until it appears like a time bomb in their hand. Even more, I will teach you a gimmick that will allow you to visually or invisibly switch small items. Combined, this is powerful. Add in the evocative presentations that I will break down, and you have the tools to create a theater of impossibility. So let's get into this method and all of the possibilities that it will bring. For many years now, I've had what I call a clutch skill, which was what I was doing in facts before, and I also had a clutch method. And that method is what I'm going to teach you now. It's a folding technique of a double. Now, I've taught this in a kind of a different way before in the past. And when I did that project and with Jeff McBride, I was performing one of the effects for him, and he was this close to my hands and he was smiling. And I thought that he was really into the presentation. Afterwards, he said to me, "Are you going to teach that?" And I said, "Well, of course I'm teaching this." And he really looked at me like, "Are you going to really teach it?" And he said, "I burned your hands and didn't see any edges during this." So what I'm going to try to do now is really teach you how to fold this card and unfold it and do all these switches, restorations, all of these transformative state changes from this one single method. Over the years of manipulating and learning and developing this technique that I'm about to show you, it has been compared to others in the past, even Jordan, Dan Paulus, and Jay Sankey. And I've done my history to actually check in with as many as I could. Jay Sankey himself even said that he never taught anything like this, but he'd like to have his name mentioned anyway. So there you go. So this is how all of the presentations I'm about to show you start. You could do this from a borrowed pack of cards. With the gimmick, you would have your own pack of cards, only because I realize that magicians in general are going to have their own cards on them anyways, and you're not going to ask people for cards a lot of the time. So I'm trying to think of both sides of this. But if you go to a gig and you don't have anything at all to do, you know you have a good 5-6 minute performance piece with one of these routines just from a borrowed pack of cards. So what is this? Now, in all of these effects, regardless of what the presentation is or what the actual effect you're achieving is, you're just going to have them freely select the card that they want. So we begin in this situation. It's probably not going to be a new deck order. So let's say they pick the 3 of hearts and the 6 of clubs for this presentation. And that's what we'll use right now to teach you the fold and this technique. And then after I teach you the technique, I'll show you the variations on it that allow you to do the different impossibilities. I have my 2 cards. I'm going to teach you how to do this fold, and we're going to try something new here. We're going to do what I call a true view. You're going to see it the way I see it. So just come on in here a bit. We're going to turn it around, and let's see it the way I see it. To be able to do this well, you're obviously going to have to be able to do a good double. And I'd be remiss if I didn't teach you how to do a double at least. So one very easy and logical double is what I call the logical double. And most of the time you're just going to get a riffle back up here. If you're beginning out, you have that, and you turn like that. It might seem a little flourishy, but it's not. It just shows you're handling the cards. And why I call it the logical double is because naturally a double is going to happen like this. Because this is how you deal cards. This is how people are used to seeing cards being dealt. So when you don't deal them that way, it's going to look strange. So if you had turned the card over like this using your thumb to turn it, it makes sense to hold it that way. But to get it through here, you're going to have to get it away from your thumb to put it down. And that gives it a logical motion. That's if you're just starting out. If you're better at a double, I always suggest just doing a strike double. Just like that. And the easiest way to understand that and learn that is that, just in practice, is feel what one card feels like. And it's very loose and gooey. When you go to 3 cards, it's very stiff all of a sudden. But 2, if you feel it and get used to it, feels just right. Get used to feeling how 2 cards feel, and so that you can just bring your finger in and do this. Because that's what dealing a card looks like. And as you can see, that's a double. I don't have any get ready. I just reach in and grab it. So we'll pick 2 new cards. just because I've worn these in a little bit. Here we have our new cards, and we're going to get into this fold. But I just wanted to cover that a bit, because I don't have a break here, and I just reach in, and I can get that because my finger can feel the side for that thickness I need. And that's very helpful with this double. So let's get into this fold. When you take the card off the pack, I'm pulling this double off. To them, it's just a single card. But I want you to really understand how this is done here. See this grip? Do you see how it's kind of bending the card right there, the two of them? That's holding them in a position together. It's keeping them together. I could do this. I could sit there and shake it like this, and it's not coming apart. The double is still good. So we want to be able to do that. Now, I personally will twirl it like that and get into this position. Why? Because this is how we're about to fold it. Naturally, your inside of your finger here and the inside of your thumb, this is a natural place for the card to be and just rest. And if you have a card there, look where it is on my fingers right now and my thumb, because this is a natural place. Your fingers are in a natural place to hold these two together. And another natural motion is when you start to bend something to fold it in half, you're going to naturally bring your hand in like that to kind of bow it and get it in line. Well, that's another way to hold these two together as well. So using all of that together, you should be able to keep these two together pretty freely without any fear of them springing apart. Because I've been asked that before, how do you keep it from springing apart? And that's exactly how you do it. Now you're going to pinch the edges together here, just like that. You're going to line them up pretty perfectly. On the top half of this, you're going to pinch, just pinch by pinch by pinch, all the way down to the bicycle here. You're not going to keep doing it down here because it will skew the side. You're just going to squeeze, just like that. And now it's like this. On your side, you're going to be able to see the three edges. But on their side, if they see any edge at all, it's going to be right there, and they're going to think it's the other half of the back of this side of the card. So to them, it's clean. Now, this next part can be a little tricky, but look at it in a mirror and you'll really get a sense for it. You're going to open this up like a paintbrush move, keeping this folded card inside. It's almost like a Mercury fold. You're going to put your finger, see the thumb right there? Right on the bicycle. You're going to fold that down and crease across like that. Now, when you open it like this, you might be worried about that indice flashing. But what we're going to do is we're going to turn. See how quick that is? They'll never see that right there because it all happens like that. You push down, fold. When you're here, just naturally here, it's natural for your ring finger to come here as you start to crease. So you've already pushed it out into palm. You have it here, you have it folded there. But you've already done is a switch. Now it's the 4 instead of the 3. So you could open it a little bit and fold it identical to your 3, put it in their hand, and now you have a switch. But a really interesting thing you can do as well that we're going to cover is how to do basically a TNR anytime you want. This could be signed. If you rip through it, and as long as you're not showing them the front, you can tear it like this. And when you line it up like this, you just kind of square it up and bring that corner up. And you'll ask them, what was the card again? It was a 2 of spades, actually. And you can show it to them. They'll see these torn edges. They'll think that you've torn up their card. It's in pieces. You can even spread them a little bit, just like that. Then when you bring your hand in, you see here, I'm just going to do this. But watch what this looks like. It looks like it turned it all around. So in their point of view, you're just turning the packet around. You're going to squeeze it here. Now you can just do that and lose the pieces into your palm. Or if you're not feeling safe with that, you can just kind of like square them up a little bit that way. Turn it here, so this never leaves their sight. You're going to push in here while you're gripping. And this makes sense. It's getting harder to hold. And you're even going to fold it one more time like that, which allows you to do this and allows you to push this right down into your grip. So you can put this into someone's hand, and it doesn't seem weird that you're making this fist as you're doing it because you're gripping this together. And when they let up a little bit, they'll feel it expand. And that's a nice tactical sensation in this part of the effects that we're doing, is that they'll feel this coming back together. And now you have a TNR. So that's the main core technique, the method. Shown once again in real time, which is, I'm going to take 2 contrasting cards so it's easy to see again. For this right here, we're going to use the 2 and the 3. We're going to do this in real time. It's right off the top of the pack. Here we go. It's just coming forward like that. And what I do is I always take it like this, bring my thumb in, turn it around, do the fold. This is real time. Squeeze, paintbrush, and that move. It seems like a rotating move, but no one ever sees it that way. We have this here. We can come back in, fold it back down. We have now done a complete switch of the card. We put this in someone's hand, come back. They believe that this now is this card right here in your possession, the 2, when in fact you've already switched it for the 3. You've invisibly, at your fingertips, while twirling and folding, changed the state of this card. It could be a transposition now, the restoration, and there's a lot more we'll do with this. Now that you understand this method, I can just input it in my teaching of these different presentations now, which will make this a lot easier for you to follow. So master this technique, master folding this. Don't have fear of these flying apart. When I first showed this to Dan Haas, he looked at me with these big eyes and he said, how do you do that without being afraid of this falling apart? And I said, you just have to do it. You can't be afraid, because if you're thinking too much about all this, it's not going to help you with the presentation. And I really want you to focus on these transformative presentations because they really hit home with people. And we're going to learn that right now. I'm about to teach you 3 very worked out routines that I've been performing for years. They last about 5 to 6 minutes. There's the ancillary TNR that can be done throughout all of this, and we have some stuff with the gimmick that I'd like to show you. But the core of what I'm about to teach you and where we're going to use this method is in these 3 main routines right here. And these routines are very cathartic. They're powerful. They hinge on people's belief systems and their hopes and their dreams and their fears. So even if you decide not to do the whole, presentation bit, you're still going to have a great killer card effect. But you add these presentations in and you're leaving them with something that's completely memorable, creating talismans of hope for them. This is the stuff that people always remember at the end, the stories about hopes and fears and things like that. So the first effect I'm going to teach you is Sin Eater. Now when we watch the performances later, I'm actually going to break down all the performance timings and cues there. So you're going to see how to really play this well with someone. But right now I just want to go through the functionality of how to perform this effect. So Sin Eater itself, you just have your pack of cards, and the only thing you're going to need in advance is a lighter and some flash paper. Now I generally use the label that comes on the Bic lighter already. I'll tear it in half, peel a little bit back, and stick my flash paper to it, and I'm done. For intents and purposes here, I'm just holding one to the back of a lighter. This is in my pocket. We're going to do like a crossing the gaze switch here coming up. So we're set and we're ready to go. You just have your lighter on you with some flash paper, and now you're ready to do this effect anytime you want. And it's called Sin Eater. And the reason it's called Sin Eater is because there's old archetypes and beliefs where they think that you can actually have someone consume your sin and turn it into something else. I'm not going to get into all of that. But what this is going to be is a transmogrification, if you want to know the term of the actual magic happening. They're going to pick a card, or 2 people even. Someone's going to pick a card with a regret, and they're going to write their regret on it. Then they're going to make a wish and write that on another card. We're going to lose their wish in the pack of cards so that they have to find their wish. And then we destroy their regret. But we're going to surprise them by, like a phoenix, turning that regret into the wish. And it's going to vanish from the deck, thus vanishing from their life. So we're actually going to, not therapeutic, but we're going to take that regret and just diminish it for them, which can be very powerful to people. So this is how we do it. We have our pack of cards. Like I said, free selection, everything. You spread them out. You say to a person, I want you to think of a card that reminds you of a regret you have. Now, I don't want to take this to a dark place. So I want them to think of something like maybe they forgot to buy a favorite pair of shoes, or they missed a sale, or something like that. We don't want to go there. So something that they wish they had done, or just something flippant, something little. So in the presentation, the woman says about the shoes. So let's say I pick a regret for myself. Let's say I pick the 6 because I wish I had spent 6 years in college instead of 4. Whatever. That's my regret. So I'll write on this regret, more education. And that could be anything anybody writes. But that's written there, it's permeated, it's done. Now you have them think of a hope. What do they hope for? What do they wish for in life? What is a wish? Well, I wish to be successful. So I might pick a diamond, like the 7 of diamonds, lucky diamonds. So I put success here. Now we tell them that, the wish isn't going to just happen. So we're going to put the success card on the top of the pack, and you're going to use your favorite false shuffle here. I like to use an overhand block false shuffle where I take off a pack like that, clip it here, do a few more, taking obviously a larger lump at first. And I could go all the way down, let go, throw that on the top. It doesn't really matter. You could stop halfway, and it's lost in the pack as far as they're concerned. Now, at this point, you need to get this card flipped over. Now, there's multiple ways to do it, and I'm sure you have your favorite. Maybe you brush it along your leg. Maybe you bring your fingers in here and just kind of do a half thing. You can also do what I've taught before, is where you pull this down and flip this over on top of it and spread the cards and say, look, I allowed you to choose any card that you wanted to. And they're like, yes, you did. And now you have the card for success turned face up. You're going to take their card, the more education, and put it on top of the success, thus creating our double for our technique. Now, what's interesting here is, in any of these effects right here with the hope and fear, wish, regret, you can actually read into this a little bit. If you feel comfortable in your warm reading skills, you could see something like more education and success and actually pull those two together. Like, wow, it's crazy. You feel like if you had gotten more education, you might have become more successful in life. Let's see if we can change that. Let's see if we can bring you that success anyways. See, it becomes much more personal to them. So we have them both turned up. It's some more education, and this is their regret. We're going to say to them, I'm going to destroy your regret. And unlike the method I showed earlier, this one, we're folding it face out. So they're actually seeing their regret card being folded and being destroyed. This one, you don't have any heat on you here on the method at all. You've just switched out the success card. You tear this card up right in front of them. You can take it another tear right here. We're destroying that regret. Right? You show them and they see that their regret is taken, and you're going to go for your lighter. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this hand that's palmed and reach down here like, where's my lighter? It's not there. You have these pieces in this hand. You're going to do a crossing the gaze switch. So you're going to go like you're putting them in here, which is really great because you still have a card here. So there's something in your hand. You just don't want to show them that the card has changed. So you have this here. You reach down into this pocket, and you're going to pull out that lighter and that flash paper. You're going to bring the lighter out like this so that they don't see the flash paper. And you're just going to bring it over here and hold it right at the edge of your fingertips. They're going to think that this flash paper is the torn up edge of the card. You can even prep your flash paper a bit to make it look more like the edge of a playing card. Just show a bit of the paper, don't show much. And then you're going to light it like that, and it turns right there in front of them visually, because they're going to see that card. They're going to have that retention of vision of that black card, let's say, and they're going to see that burn, and it's going to turn into the red one, which is very mystifying to them. So now you have magically produced their wish. It has now jumped out of the deck and replaced the regret card, which is a transmogrification. It's transformed into the other. And when you spread the pack now, the regret is gone. So when they look back at it, there's a message here that now your regret is vanished. And that's very powerful to them. So when they have this wish card and it's success, I would say something like, I would get their name, and I would say, here is in there, Tisha, I see great success in your life. You just do that and you leave them with that. That's powerful. That's a present. That's a gift. It's a talisman. It could be many different things. I see these cards handed back to me a lot of times when I see people again, because I've done these type of effects for a lot of people. And even people that know magic, they'll hold on to these because it's the moment. The moment is more powerful than the actual trick a lot of the times. What people leave saying after they watch the magic is really what the magic is. If you do a simple trick and someone goes off and explains it as a miracle, that's what it is to these people. That's the truth of the trick. They're not going to remember it exactly like you do. You spend time on these. They don't. So they'll remember this as, a card appeared like a phoenix and you turned it into a talisman. It becomes a great story, and you should use that. Now we're going to learn Mythos. If you haven't learned this in the past, I have covered it before on another concept of mine. But we're going to go over it again here in case you haven't learned it, because it fits the theme of all of these effects, being emotional and being about giving somebody something to remember. And it uses the same mechanics essentially. So let's get into this. And with Mythos, you're going to do is have someone pick a fear. That'd be the first thing. So you take the deck, you spread it, they find a card that resembles a fear to them. You can guide this a bit. You could say 2 of spades for a snake, like the teeth. 8 is usually picked a lot for spiders because of the 8 legs. Sometimes people pick aces because they don't want to be alone. So, if you want to kind of guide them, but you don't have to guide them. There's no forcing here. But this is good practice, because in these guided methods, when you see what they pick as their fear and their hope, you can kind of tie them together in your head and usually read into the situation a little bit. Get a little warm read out of that. Maybe know a little bit more about them. And then use that in your performance as well. And people usually remember those things when you really hone in on what's personal to them. So you're going to spread the cards, and let's say that they pick the 6 here. The 6 of hearts is a fear. And let's say their fear is of being alone. So they're going to write that there. It's a free selection, and what you're going to do at this point is you're just going to get this top card turned over. You can do this a lot of ways. You could do the brush against your leg to flip it, which is an old method. You have the cards already facing up. It's very easy at this point to just do a half pass. Just do it like that even. Nobody's really going to be having heat on this. They're going to be looking at the card, the alone, writing it down. You could do it while they're writing it. And then at this point you just spread it and say, I want you to pick a card for a hope. Let's say they pick the 4 of spades. They want to have 4 children, kids. Now at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the Pandora's box presentation and how mythology is there for people to have things to believe in because they don't understand how things work. And as we get farther into life and down history and we get towards the future, we learn how some of these things are so, and we abandon these myths. But almost all myths have this morality or a story to them, and that's what we're going to say is important at this part, is the story, the Pandora's box. That when they open Pandora's box, and go read it if you don't know it, but is when they opened the box, all the fear flew out into the world. They were told not to open this box. When they did, all the fear flew out in the world, but there was a glimmer of hope behind, left behind inside the box, and that was the moral of the story, the good that came out of the story, the whole point. So we don't believe in boxes that send fear out into the world, but we still believe in keeping a bit of hope. So that's our message here. So their fear is alone, being alone. We're just going to bring it to the pack. It's there. Turn it over. We're going to take that other card and put it in the box and say what people do when they have a fear and they don't face it is they bottle it up inside. They trap it away. You put that on their hand. You do this open hand like this. You do it on a table. Just put that in their purvey. Put that where they can control it. And then we have this one. Now, we could have broken this into 2 parts. This is a quicker way to get through it. We could have started off at the very beginning, just the fear card, flipped it over, put it in the box, and then spread and picked this hope card. And then did the whole flip over to get this ready. So at this point, you just take this card, you take the other card and flip it over off the top, and you have your fear card facing up. You could also do this many different ways. You could just snap, turn it over like that. Just however you want to turn this top card over. Use your half pass. I'm not going to teach a bunch of methods because I don't own a bunch of methods for this. I use what's simplest at the time. But you're just going to lay the hope card over the fear card. Now you can bring it into view and say, oh, kids. Well, I can see that maybe, your fear of being alone might also tie in with your hope for children. because if you don't find someone to be with, you might not ever have kids. You're not going to say that part. That's what you're reading into this. That's a warm read. When they give you a little bit of information, you're able to make a deduction from that that is actually very specific. So we're going to go ahead and do our move here. And this one isn't like Sin Eater where we do it face out. This one's face in. So we're just going to go ahead and do our method. And same deal here. Except now what we're going to do is like a TNR. But really what we're going to do is transpose the state of these cards. So you tear up this card, which is actually their fear that you're looking at, but they believe it's their hope card. So you say to them, I'm destroying your hope, because that's what happens when we bottle our fears up. We destroy our hope. And then you get ready to do the corner show here so you can prove it's their card. So that was the card for your hope, right? The 4 kids. You do the turnaround, the fold, and then you're going to fold this right in front of them into a ball and put it in their hand and say, here, don't grip that too tight. That's your hope, and it's been destroyed, but you can feel it moving a bit. And remember Pandora's box. What happened when they opened the box? And that's when you reach over to the box, and you have this in your palm. You're just going to kind of put it right down on the box. Open the box, turn it over, and right there's the card in there. You're going to hold that card with your thumb. Shake the box and let these pieces fall. Almost as soon as they fall, start unfolding them a bit, just laying them flat. It doesn't look like you're unfolding them, it's just like you're laying them there. And they're going to be trying to figure out how it came out broken in pieces. This is being held in their hand, by the way. And all you're going to do is just take the cards, and if you put the cards under from a new pack order, like that, it puts everything back in order again. But now you've covered up the extra card in the pack. You put this aside, it's unimportant. They feel this. If the fear came flying out, and this was actually your regret or your fear in the box, and it was secure and it could come out in pieces, what do you think you could do to that hope that was destroyed in your hand? And they've been feeling this move. Because see, look, when you have it down tight like that and you let go, this is springing out. It's actually, it almost feels like it's cutting into your hand a little bit if you try to squeeze it too tight. So they've loosened up. They feel it's expanding. It feels like it's moving a bit. And then they get a chance to just open it. You ask them. It's an open-ended question. What would happen to the hope? You just look at their hand, and they're going to figure it out. They're going to open it up, and they're going to look, and their hope is restored. So the kids, the idea of this hope that they have is still intact because they've destroyed their fear. And just like Pandora's box, when all the fear flew out of the box, there was still a little bit of hope left inside. Now, you do it with just signatures or whatever. It's a transposition of state. You have somebody holding a torn up card in a box, or a secure card in a box, and you have someone holding a torn up card in their other hand, and then their card restores and the other one explodes or whatever. That's the quick in-out fun effect of this. But if you want to go for the impacting, the memorable, out of everything I've shown you in this is the routine I do the most out of these, because this is one of the strongest card performance pieces I have. Just because when you really play into it and you get that warm read and you get a big sense of it all, this becomes a big performance piece that has a lot of meaning, and it's very important to them in the end. And you can write, may you find, peace and happiness and have your kids, or whatever you want to do to make this into a talisman then at the end, so that you're giving them something. You're reaffirming their desires and their hopes. So I would write something like, may your future kids be healthy and happy in my name. And it's a memory now. It's like a talisman. It's going to help them invoke this to be reality. So they take it, they fold it, put it in their wallet, their purse, whatever, and they'll keep this. They really do, and this means something to people. Because they don't get to see magic all the time. That's what we forget. We see tons of magic, and we get jaded, and we think this is so common to us, but to other people it's not. So remember that it's uncommon, and make that uncommon moment mean something. And that's what Mythos is all about. Now that we've learned Sin Eater and Mythos, before we learn Power Broker and the other effects that follow, I want to just show you for a moment the power switch gimmick. We'll be using it in those effects. I will teach you how to build one of these at the end, but for right now I just want to show you what it is so you don't get lost watching the instruction, or you can just jump to the end and make one. What it is the back of a card box, and it has a playing card on the other side. It's cut with a groove so it can be held a certain way. And what's nice about this one is the cellophane is intact on the back here and tucked in tight. And there are 4 high-level neodymium magnets that are 1 millimeter thick in here and in the back of the box. So what that happens is that locks right in place. You can come over, locks, you can hear it snapping. But that's what we're going to be using. We're going to be loading items into here and switching them for what's already in here, like folded cards and billets and other items. So I just want you to get a grasp of what we're working with here, and that's it right there. It's the power switch gimmick, and we will go into it further later on. Now it's time for the power broker effect. In the power broker effect, we're not going to go for a whole lot of emotion or anything like that. We're just going to give someone power. We're going to give them the ability to do magic. They're going to be the magician for a moment. And then we're going to give them their own spectator even to perform for. And they're not going to have to perform or do anything, actually. So this is fun because it seems very hands-off in that sense in the reveal at the end. And it gives people that moment of how did it happen, and you don't even know how it happened to the person that's supposed to be doing it, of course. So I'm going to start with the gimmick actually on the top of the pack. Here it is. Because it's unlikely someone's going to pick the very first card. And what I do is I just push it down into my pinky there. No one ever catches it there. I just spread right through. They're looking at all the cards coming up next. And I just have my pinky covering that slot. And I say, here, I want to give you power. And the first person. So they're going to pick a card. Go through. And if you want to put it on the bottom and you have different ways of getting this card moved around the deck, then do that. That's awesome. But back to this, yes, so they pick the 7 of diamonds. And say, look, you're going to be the magician, or let them decide who's going to be the magician. Let them both pick a card. So let's just say the other person picks a card too. We have 2 people, and they pick these 2 cards. Now this person decides they want to be the magician. They want the power. So they sign their name, and you have them put an M on it with a circle because they're the magician. And then they have a spectator, and they're going to sign the card, and they're a spectator. Well, you say, what are we going to do? What magic trick? Well, a lot of the times the magic trick is to find a person's card. Now, when you lay these cards down, you're going to want to kind of pivot it, just like that. That way, when you set the gimmick down here, it just kind of covers the gimmick. That way no one notices it. So you can feel free, leave it out. And also you notice that there's a folded card here. I didn't bring it up at the beginning because I don't bring it up in the effect until the routine until the very end. I don't do anything with it. I just leave it out there as just a red herring as to what may come. So at this point, we have to lose the spectator's card in the pack. I put it on the top. I do my favorite overhand false shuffle. I stop midway, drop the pack down, cut it right back to the top. I'm going to point to this, say, you're the magician, I'm going to give you power. When I do this, I get my flip over. We've lost this person, the spectator's card in the pack. I don't have to do anything for you. You'll see the performance. So take the magician's card, you look at the name, you say their name to it, and say, look, you're the magician, you've got power. We're going to go ahead, and at this point, you have to lay the cards down and see where they're at now. You want to just lay them down like that. And you bring attention to this. And you say, whoever, LokI the magician, huh? I'm going to give you power. And we do the basic version of this, not the outward one like the Sin Eater. And it has been switched. Now we open it back up once and just fold it over casually like this, and we ask about if they've ever heard of a dowsing rod, because this is what it looks like, the little wishbone deal. So we're going to make you a dowsing rod. And you put it like this. As you explain to them what the dowsing rod is, you have them hold it just like this. You're here, they're holding it like this. You say, this is like your magic wand. People used to believe you could hold these sticks together and find water. So this is what this is, and you're going to find their card. So they're holding this now. It's now a magic wand. It's an item of power. It's not their signed card. So they're holding it, but they're not going to look at it. You're palmed over here. You're going to pick up the cards like this while you're talking about the old dowsing rod thing. And as you pick the cards up, you have this here. You just, because of the way this is cut, you can push right there. It's going to slide out a bit. No one sees that. And this just slides right under that. So you just do this. And if you can see it right there, I'm trying to leave it exposed so you can see it. Just slide it in with your thumb. Now once it's in here, you can hold the pack like this for a second and squeeze and put a crease in this folded card right here. And you're talking about the dowsing rod. This is the dowsing rod. We're going to go across here. What are we going to use the dowsing rod for? You're just kind of moving along. Now see how I just turned the deck around? I turned this to get this in position to lock onto this. This has been out of the way while I've been teaching you, but when I perform, this is right here. I do the spread in front of it. This is just laying there. So now our excuse is to get it out of the way. So we do this and the gimmick clicks in place, right with their folded card there. Now why this isn't noticed is because we're changing a small area here. What changes right here, and it's not even changing, the direction is in this case. You want to get the direction right. I didn't put the gimmick in the other way. So the only thing that's changing here is a small item. This larger area is what's actually changing. But they don't see that. They focus inward when anything small happens here. Since nothing's actually changing here, they're not even paying attention to that, which is great for us. But if we're using this gimmick for other things, keep in mind that a smaller object in here negates the edges. They don't look, they focus in on the center. So we're going to put this down right on top, move it out of the way, and we're going to slide the cards face up or face down. I do it face up to say find their card because at this point, they never catch it. But at this point, they should be going across thinking, where are both of the cards? Because I don't see their spectator's card, so they jump ahead in the thought process when you bring this reveal into play, and they never think, where's my card then? They don't even know where it should be. Now, if you want to do it face down, where you take the cards and you spread them face down, and they go across, you can do it like this. They go across like this, and they stop on a card. And say, that's it. Well, I guaranteed you that when you touch the card down on whatever card you wanted, that you will have found their card. See, it's vague wording. I didn't say this would be the card. I just said they will have found it because it's in their hand. So they touch down and they turn the card over, and it's not the card. Like in the performance I showed. So that's not it. It's not it. And I said, but I've told you. I promised you that you would have this power, that this would work. And then you look at this card. Anytime you switch something in someone's hands and they're just handling it and acting like nothing's happening, all you have to do is look at it and not say anything. Just stop the moment and go. And you don't have to be like that, but that's going to make them go, oh, what is this? Wait. And just like in the performance, they go, well, that's not it. And then they're, oh, it is it. So this is how we bring attention to what's in their hand. Now, I do it face up just because it's fun to me and I'm kind of evil. So you do it face up and it's like, find their card. And they're like, no, go ahead. Trust me, when you touch it, you will have found it. And they're like, and you're like, yeah. And encourage them. And then they realize, oh, this is the card. Now it's a different whole kind of a effect. But then it's like, where is your card then? Bring it to the finale. Where is the magician's card? It's not in the deck either now. That was in their hand. They thought they were holding their own card. So they look over and you say, look, I had this out in the open from the very beginning. You could have asked me what this was about. And I would have told you that I keep a folded up card for good luck. Be from a performance, somebody cool I met, famous person, it doesn't matter. I just keep one there for good luck. And it's interesting because this one just happens to be. And then you pull it out like that and you just put the deck away and they open it up, or the box I should say, and that's their signed card. So now their signed card has been sitting out in the open since the very beginning. And use your own effects for this if you want. If you want to do an ambitious card and do a Mercury fold and load it into this, and then at the end, instead of that card being there, and let me turn it the right way, since that card being there, now this is, and you say, well look, this has been sitting here from the very beginning. It's crazy, but here's your signed card. It's a mystery box application in this sense. So at the very end, their card is now found in the box. They have magical powers. Not only did they find that card, it jumped into their hand more than they expected to happen. Their own signed card vanished from their hand and jumped over to this box where it's been sitting the whole time, which is very powerful to them. It's like a bit of the stranger plot mixed with a bit of giving them power. So have some fun with that. And hopefully it was easy to follow there with the way I was showing it to you, because this is a fun effect. And when you're done, this is here, so you just put this away. Put your cards in it, put the box away, and you're good. And now you have a two-person, which the sense of is a two-person transposition with signed cards. That happens in their hands, and they're in control of it in their mind. Here's a really cool and fun effect to switch business cards with someone. And it's a bit of a transposition repeat effect, a flashback effect, so to speak. Now this can be handled a few different ways. I'm sure you'll do it however you want. But here's two different ways I would handle it right here. First off, you're going to have your business card in your power switch gimmick, just ready to go like that. And have this off to the side. You're going to get ready to palm this in. Now you're just going to ask somebody, you're done with the cards, you did the card trick for someone, you want to get their contact, whatever, and you say, hey, can I get your business card? They pull out your business card and say, here, and don't touch the box. And just say, here, slide it under the cellophane for me, because I want to show you something cool. Isn't that neat how that automatically adds like a glossy finish to the card? And they'll say, oh yeah, you know, or they might have already had gloss on their card. And you'll say, you know what would make, the only thing that could make it look better? And they'll say, what? And you go like this, and you say, if it was my card. And that's when you do that for them. And then they take your business card out, just like this. And as soon as they start to pull it out, notice how at the very beginning there, I tucked it out a little bit. That's to show them that their card isn't behind it or under it. I want that, this is all about subtleties in this one. So subtly, in a subtlety, they realize that their card is vanished now, and that's my card. It changed to it, and it's not underneath of it. So you tilt it out part way and you have them grab it, and as they grab it, say this to them. Make sure they haven't fused together. Because in their mind, they're thinking of the two cards into one is a subtlety, and it's like a subliminal thing going on in their mind. So as they pull it out, as they're pulling it out, just say, oh, make sure they didn't fuse together. And they're going to look at the card then. They're going to turn the card over to the back to look at it, and when they do that, all you're going to do is just pull this down underneath, just like that, and leave it just like that. They're going to look over here like this, and then they're going to look back up, and it's right back there in the box. So we have this flashback moment. Another way of doing it that I like to have fun with is I'll change it. So I'll go like this, and I'll say, look, it's only if it'd look better if it was my card, you know, that joke. So they take the card like this, and I just nod, and I go to put the cards in my pocket like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to push that off and let it fall down in. That was a bit of a flash right there. Just like that, let it fall down in. And say, oh, wait, you probably thought that I didn't keep your card. No, your card is here. So we have another flashback moment, a way to ditch where we're clean now. Because when this comes out, we have two business cards and we have a box here. And with the magnets on this side, it's not inspectable, so to speak. But it is on the outside. Now, I just want to spend a moment discussing how I came upon creating this gimmick. And it started with this actual prototype here. What I had was a professional pack of bicycle playing cards and just a half folded card. And I cut a slit and put it back in. Obviously I cut a slit and cut out this whole section here so that when I'd have this in there, it could be shoved down. It could be in the pack as a mystery card, and then as I loaded the cards with a folded card here in, I could shove the folded card in here and push this down in the corner. And then it would blend in, the folded card would be here, and I could hold it and cover the edge maybe. And I was doing that for maybe a couple weeks. I hired a consultant who then came to me with the whole idea of just a false back with putting the cellophane on it. And to me that was okay, but I wanted to make sure it really stuck. It wasn't using magnets at the time. And I wanted the cellophane, I needed another card on the other side because I wanted to use this in the pack as well. I wanted to switch small items. After I reworked it a few times, the prototype, and I got to this exact design, then I started asking around about it. I talked to a few people involved in some projects like Kevin Schaller and a few other people, and I found that this is not an original idea in its own. Some of the advancements, the magnets, the way it's built, the way I'm using it is definitely different. But there have been other versions of this, and it's hard to really bring it up because none of them were built this way. There's only one other version I know out there that's actually using a card back with cellophane, and it involves a lot of other items that you have to have in there that aren't very practical. But some of the other versions have been out there, just to give credit where credit is due to people who have used this idea before I. Mark Mason has a version of a card back to the box back, or a box shell. So does Henry Evans with his 3D advertising. David Stone has, the card version, like Tool. It's called Tool, and it's just, like two sides of a card. Eric Ross has one called Conspiracy that I was pointed out to. That one has cellophane on the back of it like this. The construction and build of it is a lot thicker and involves other parts. I don't want to expose anyone's product here. I just want to make sure that I show you that I have done my research on this thing, and at this point, with what we're using it for, and the way it's built, and the fact that I'm teaching you how to build it rather than putting out just this piece, I think really covers this for us and the use of it. Also, it's really just the finale to one of my main routines, and just along the way, magicians and everybody's played with it and come up with a lot of fun ideas for this, so I wanted to include them. But I wanted to let you know this is not anything new, but it is definitely reworked and heavily thought into. Here we are going to learn how to make the power switch gimmick. It's very easy. First, you're going to want to have 2 matching packs of bicycle playing cards, or any cards of your choice, and make sure that they're in good condition, that they're still sealed. Make sure that you have some super glue, some school glue like Elmer's, and some invisible tape. You also need some Santa Claus scissors, or just regular scissors, and you'll want to have the included magnets that I sent you. There should be 8 of them, and they're 1 millimeter a piece thick. That'll make it so they're very thin and easy to stick in the gimmick. Now you're going to look at the line, and you're going to where the cellophane can be peeled, and you're going to peel the cellophane off right above the line. That way we can cut it and make it perfectly even later. So go ahead and take those both off, and we're going to flatten it out straight and take the scissors and cut it right below the red line. That way they're both identical and perfect. You might have to stick your hand in and fix them out and make sure that they're not smashed down. Put them in the right correct shape, and once you have 2 matching ones, put them to the side, and we'll get to that later. Now you want to look at your boxes and make sure that you've taken the tax stamp out by squeezing it down into the top tab. Push down with your fingernail and create a groove. That way when you pull the box away from the tax stamp itself, you can rip it through in a line that follows the contour of the box. We're going to do this so that both box backs match, and that the tax stamps match when they switch out in the gimmick. Go ahead and tuck in any extra hanging off tax stamp sticker and make sure that they both look about the same. Now you're going to take nail cleaner and you're going to push it down through the inside, through the glue, and just use the thin part to pull the box apart. This is the easiest way I've found. You'll also want to remove the excess glue that is on the paper afterwards. Flatten the box down and find the part of it that has the seam. You're going to want to use the tool again to separate that part of the box so it is completely open. Try your best not to tear the inside of the box parts into a thinner section and keep them both separate as 2 parts. If they do come apart a little bit, use your scissors to just cut through that excess piece. We can clean it up later. Go ahead and pull the excess paper and glue off the side and any extra part of the boxes when you're taking them apart. Now we have one box, and as you can see, it lines up perfectly with the other box back. So we're going to cut this box back out. We do that by cutting outside of the wrinkle where the seam is, where the box bends. We cut on the outside to stay safe, because once we've cut it, you'll be able to feel that edge right there along the side that you can now cut away on the other side of the wrinkle, thus making it a perfect cut on the inside of the box. We do this on each side, removing the outside and then the inside of the wrinkle. And finally the last side. Once you've removed the final little strip of the wrinkle, this box back will line up perfectly with the other box back and just be slightly smaller. Now you're going to cut the cellophane, the back window out. So squeeze it down flat against the edge of the scissors, just like that, and just cut through the line right along the seam, or the fold of the cellophane. Do that all the way around the back of the cellophane, thus cutting the back half of the cellophane out. We'll deal with the corners here in just a second. Now you've removed the back. You have your corners there, and you're going to do the same thing. Pull them down and cut them open. Now watch carefully as I cut through the edges, creating a straight line across that corner. This takes away the excess cellophane when you're gluing it back down and back together. You're going to want to have a low spot card that has a gap open where the tack stamp is cut through, just like this 4 of clubs. You'll take the cellophane and push it against the back side of the box piece that you've cut out so that the cellophane is on the back side. We're going to take our glue stick and run it around the outside edges here so we can push the cellophane pieces down on the back side of the box back and push them down so that it holds the cellophane in place. Push it down with your fingers and let it dry. Because we cut out those corner edges, they do not overlap now, making it thinner. Check the back of it and make sure that the cellophane is accessible. Now we're going to take our super glue and we're going to glue down the cellophane along the edge, but we're going to do it at 4 points where we put the magnets. So go ahead and put a drop over the corner of the top right cellophane and drop down a neodymium magnet there. I use a plastic pin to push it in place. That way it doesn't stick to anything. I do the bottom right corner covering both the edges of the cellophane, a nice bit of super glue there, and I drop another neodymium in. Repeat the process for the other corner and the top left corner. As you see right here, the same positioning. The polarity of the magnets is not important. Now we're going to run our glue stick over the entire body and run super glue along the edge of the entire card and the middle. So here I am adding the glue along the edge, and it will come out of the sides when we press it together. That's intended. You'll get some glue on your hands. Now I'm covering through the center, and it's time to apply the card. You want to line the card up as even as possible because it's not going to be exact fit. You want to go ahead and leave the bottom part of it together and have this top part here overlapping. So we push it together at the bottom and then line it up on the sides. It doesn't matter if it sticks out at the top. Now we're going to push the card down into the back piece and glue is going to come out. So we're going to use 2 fingers on each hand to push it together and use another finger on our hand to wipe the glue away that we're not going to touch anything with. As you can see here, I'm using my middle finger to remove the glue and holding it together with my forefinger and my thumb. As I work my way around, I try my best not to contact the glue to the card or the cellophane at all. If you have to touch anything, make it the card, because you can disguise that with a white Sharpie. The cellophane, if you add super glue to it and make it apparent, will be visible. Now I've worked my way around to the top edge, getting that super glue out, and it's on my middle finger, which will have to be removed later with an acetone or like a nail polish remover. Or you can wait it out and peel it away. Now that it is dried, I can go ahead and squeeze in all the extra little gaps where the glue didn't really stick and make sure that it's completely sealed all the way around the edges. This will ensure that the gimmick will have a long-lasting life and a super thin build. Now it's time to go ahead and take our gimmick and cut out this moon shape here. It's best to use a nail cutting pair of scissors, but I'm using my Santa scissors here. A smaller curved scissor would work better in this situation. But it's also good to learn how to work with the tools you have laying around you. So cut from both sides. There's a little bit left in the middle, so I just fold it down a bit like this so I can snip it with the end of the scissors. Now I get in there a little bit further, and there it goes. Now I can clean up a little bit of the front side, just the edges where there might be some extra edging there, and just make sure that it looks clean. Now it should look just like the back of the box that's left open. As we have opened both boxes. Remember, the other box was opened before. And now we're going to take it and put it perfectly on the back of the box and tape it down, as if it is the back of the box. Make sure that you tape it with as little of the tape going on the cellophane as possible. You don't want to take the chance of ripping that. But once you have it secure like this, you're going to be able to place the magnets just by dropping them. Drop the magnet and it'll land in place. Put super glue over the top of it. And as you're adding the super glue, kind of push it around, because it will reconnect to itself and kind of smear over the glue and connect underneath. The glue will connect underneath the magnet. Go ahead and do this for all 4 magnets. If you want to ensure that it has a really good stick, you might actually want to use your finger and smear the glue in over the magnets themselves. Now we're going to peel the tape away after the super glue is dried and peel away from the cellophane. Start on the cellophane and pull towards the paper, so that if it's going to rip anything, it'll rip a little bit of the paper and not the cellophane. Do this for all the cellophane so that you release the back piece of the gimmick again. It's being held on now by the 8 neodymium magnets that are in your construction. Now we want to glue the box back together. Go ahead and take the parts that you've taken apart before that are corrugated and torn that had glue before and reapply glue to them. They're easy to tell because they'll be roughed up. All you need is a glue stick for this. We're going to reinsert the cards back in the pack, and we're going to put it back together. First, you're going to put it back into its original shape, just so it's easier to put the cards in. You only need to put 2 or 3 cards into the box to help maintain its shape. Putting a full pack right now is unnecessary. Go ahead and cut the rounded part off the edge of the tab so it goes right at the corner where the corner of the curve starts to happen. That'll give you room to shut it, and it'll avoid the magnets. Now we're going to go ahead and tape the box down, and make sure to use the excess part of the tape on the sides and the bottom of the box. That way it's not too visible on the build itself, as people will be focusing on the front and back of the box. Rub it in nice so that the invisible tape works. Now you might have to use a finger tool to actually pull the cellophane back on, but put it back on nice and tight and make sure at the end that the cellophanite matches the other card, and when you snap it on, it snaps in place and looks identical. Now you have a working power switch gimmick. You know how to build one, and if you need to make one again, it'll only take you about 10 minutes. As you can see here, I have one here that I've used for 2 to 3 months now, and it is really worn in, so you'll want to be able to make your own. Now for the thin card. Take a card and fold it in half. Now fold it lengthwise. Give it super tight creases and cut out the left side middle crease, and then cut diagonally from about 1 centimeter in to the middle from the bottom right. This will make the card super thin, and you can fold over that little edge, and it'll make it look like a folded card that you can slide into the box itself, so you're always ready to go with a mystery card application. With the gimmick on top of it, it will not pop up because the card itself is so thin. Now when you want to put it away, you just slide your gimmick inside, and it snaps inside to the reverse polarity of the magnets. That means when you put the deck inside, even with the full deck like this with the jokers I have, I can shut it, and when it's time to open up the pack and get the cards out, I just take my finger over the top edge like that, pour them out, and there's the gimmick. When I want to use a gimmick, I just pull it out and off to the side, put it on the back or in the deck, and I'm ready to go. There you go, your own power switch gimmick. Enjoy. Now, the whole point of this gimmick to me is to take two items that look similar, which would be the folded card and power switch, the whole reason for it, and to be able to switch them without anyone noticing. Now, the reason this works is because they're not focusing on anything in power switch, you're just moving the box out of the way. But when you change something in here, they're going to focus on the smaller area rather than the large. So it's not like they're going to see these edges. And the card underneath of this right here isn't folded in the way that I showed you in the build-up for this. So there's a little bit of a pop-up there. You want whatever's underneath this to be very thin. But use your imagination. You can do a lot of visual changes with this if you wanted to. You can palm it either here with your ring finger and clip it like that, or like that. And all you have to do is drop it, and it's going to fall in place. You could have their card loaded in an empty box, and bang, there's their card. And you just want to put it away, or you can palm the box off. Some of the moves that we're using with the box are to push over with the thumb as we bring our hand in to palm away, dropping it in, and then there's also pulling it this way, which will be a little difficult at first when you learn it. You want to pull it away on the magnet first and then pull back. If you try to just snap it, see, it wants to stick. But you can do this with it and do a change. And this is how we're doing some of the items that we're doing in the effects and the routines that we're going to show you. If you want to do a segue between maybe a card effect, or let's say you're doing a coin magic and you want to go to maybe a ring trick, or you've stolen their ring earlier and haven't given it back to them yet, little ideas like that. Here's just an idea. As long as the flatter item is in the box, you could always have this loaded, come in and say, okay, let's go into some ring magic now. Put the coin away, turn it into a ring. You can do segues with this. Another variation on stealing, if you want to steal away the gimmick, you have something in here, you want to make it vanish, or let's say I had this underneath right here, and I want to make my business card appear, you can do a tenkai steal as well. So with that, you're just going to come over like this, push this over, clip it like that, and just pull away. And then you can drop your hand to the side, lose that in your pocket, however you want to do it. And then in real time, you can just show it like this, and there you go, it's in there. Come back in, and it's now covered back up. So you can use a tenkai grab as well to steal this gimmick right off the top of the box, and you're good to go. All right, guys. This is Daryl Williams here with me.
Hey guys.
And he inspired an idea with me while I was playing around with the gimmick at one of the magic nights here in Las Vegas. He just said to me, and this happens a lot, he said, you know, why don't you switch builds with that? And this happens to me a lot with magicians. I'll get an idea and throw it in my head, and then I'll just play with it for a while. So I just want to show you that you can switch a billet with this. And I want to kind of tell you that there has been a routine created with this, a very powerful routine about pain. And it fits the theme of what we're doing here with the Pathos project, with all the emotional parts of the routines. And it's a billet read slash, not a laying of the hands, but kind of like what would you say it is?
It's like a mentalism CAT scan.
There you go. And you'll be able to have a person point to a body part on their audience. You'll know what it is. You'll zoom in on it, and you'll help relieve pain for them. We haven't included it in here yet because it's recently new, and I don't want to just throw it at you guys just right away without having gone out and worked it and got some reactions and really seen how well this thing works. But I didn't want to leave you also without knowing that we could do
the billet work.
The billet work. So,
because the deceptive nature and immediate switch lends itself well to billet work, I think.
There we go. So in this situation, we have your business cards here, right? So we would set up in advance by having it folded just like we'd have a billet folded. So let's say we just have these folded in quarters, okay? And we could do the same bit we did on the build with how to set up the card to make this thinner as well if you're going to just do billet work. You're going to have this here, and we're going to go ahead and get this tighter, and you're going to have it in the box already. Now this is blank, okay? And you have it covered with the gimmick. Now, when it's thinner and flatter, right, what you're going to have someone do is do the billet work and tell them to write whatever on here and fold it up. So I'm looking away. And would you please hand it to me once you folded it?
Right there.
Now, instead of a center tear or something like that, this is very simple. If we have the thinner one, this isn't going to be popping up like this, obviously. But you're just going to stick the billet, which I would say use billet paper or a thinner business card because we're using some pretty thick ones here. So we don't leave it laying out there like this with this part on there after we've stolen the billet. We want to steal the billet. So how we're going to do this is we're going to use the Tenkai steel. All right. So after we've stuffed their billet into this cellophane right here, we're just going to pop the Tenkai steel here and lay the box in the open and drop down. Now you can turn your back for whatever, use your own routining here to get the billet out and get a peek at it. And if you feel the need, you can always come back around and just wave over and then prove that their billet hasn't been changed. But this could work for billet switches as well. And like I said, we do have a routine based on pain that fits the whole Pathos model that we have here going, that I will be putting out after the release of this as a bonus add-on for those that are still working on this or, you know, still loyal to the effects and routines, maybe a month or two down the road. So look out for that.
Cool.
On March 18th, 2014, I went into a flea market to find a belt. I performed imagination coins by Garrett Thomas for the owner of this clothing shop. He asked that I perform more for them, so I told him that I would if I could film it. He agreed, and I proceeded to perform the 3 main routines in this project, all in a row using the same method. I wanted to see if it was the effect or the environment of magic that moved people. Successful in this venture, I share the footage of it and will tip, where necessary, my motivations and reasonings for actions some may consider bold or even risque. But it actually appears because look, you've only got 3 of them.
I mean, I gotta use the restroom.
So how long have you been doing this magic stuff?
Here I am about to rattle her a bit. See the look I am giving? This is an opportunity. I can engage the regret response and control my spectator a bit. This keeps it lively, relevant, and spontaneous feeling. She has just asked how long I've done magic. See my response. Oh, this isn't the time for that, huh?
Okay, now how about I just bow out there?
Nah, this is magic time.
How come the spectator can't even ask you a question?
Well, I was in the middle of a trick.
What game is that?
7 years.
There we go.
7
Just
years.
took a quick answer.
It was a quick answer.
See,
I gave you a quick
didn't take
answer.
much.
All right. As a matter of fact, I regret that.
Yeah.
I regret that. Do you ever regret something
Pooped
little?
on me.
Do you ever regret something little?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Do me a favor. We're gonna do something especially just because that happened. Okay?
All right.
So this is real right now. All right?
Okay.
I want you to think of something you ain't afraid to admit. If you are from the local area and can sound like the local dialect, then do it. If you are not comfortable with it, do not try it. This is usually considered as a sales tactic. That you regret in life. You don't have to be like telling us your deep, dark secrets, but something you regret in life. And then think of a card that symbolizes it. So just think about that for a moment. Think of something you regret and find that exact card that kind of calls out to you and says, yep, that reminds me of that time. Ace of Spades. What I'd like you to do, I want you to write what that regret is on there. Them badass black shoes I didn't. Never discount someone's emotional experiences. What is important to one could mean absolutely nothing to another. Bye. You regret that. I feel you. Okay.
Right.
Now, I want you to think of a card right here that symbolizes a wish you want to have fulfilled.
A wish that
Yeah, like no, like
Okay.
world hunger or nothing like that. Something personal for you.
Okay.
And write on there what your wish is. A man with a hearse.
A king with a good heart.
Oh, a king with a good heart. Well, hell, girl, I'm right here. I know you're wondering if I just hit on that woman, but not really. My job as an entertainer also includes confidence. I only claim to have a good heart, see? While this may seem off-putting, it is not. Performance is not life, and you must sell your confidence in kind. But all right, I'll make this wish happen right now. You gotta find a wish.
Okay.
Wishes just don't happen. You feel me? So we're gonna lose that wish in the middle of the pack. All right, we're gonna do something here. Have you ever heard of a sin eater? You ever seen like movies, stuff like that? A sin eater is someone that comes along and takes something from you that you regret, like something that you wish you never did, and they just consume it and turn it into something positive. Where I'm gonna consume it, I'm gonna turn it into something. I'm gonna try to do something interesting with it. So those are those black shoes that you wish you had never, or you wish you had bought it. Yeah. And actually, we're gonna destroy this regret right in front. So let's just destroy that regret.
Flush that mug down the toilet.
Right.
Yeah, it's over. It's past.
Oh, we're gonna take this one step further, huh?
Uh-oh.
And here you will notice she is self-affirming the eventual outcome. You will see it brought back around by the end. This is powerful. I will leave you with the rest of this performance to see how it all plays out. Now you can see in my hand here the regret, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to take the edges and the pieces of this card of regret
Oh my God.
and turn it into the wish
Oh,
that...
it is the wish. Look. So does this mean I'm gonna get a king with a good heart?
and look, the regret is gone.
And the regret is gone because we do
No
not
regret.
live by regrets. I don't live with no regrets. Daggone it. And my king is on his way. That was tight. I like that. I like that, Mr. Magic Man. You see that? How did you set it on fire like that?
I burned up the pieces.
Where did it go? Where's the pieces at?
It turned into that.
Where's the ace of spades at?
That's the wrong thing. That's regrets the past.
Right, 'cause I don't even
Right,
care.
we don't hang on to regrets.
care.
We don't
I
hang
even
on to
care. All I
regrets.
care about that wish right
You
there.
hold-
that
now
king
what?
with
Hold
that
on, I
good
got
heart.
something
He's
for
on his
you.
way.
Now, how do I spell your name?
T-E-S-H-A.
T-E-S-H-A.
Tisha.
All right, Tisha, I know you will find a man with a good heart. 'Cause it's real.
I like that. Cause
You
it's
keep
real.
that.
You heard him
That's
say it. It's real.
Because it's real.
That's right.
Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to make you a magician. All right? I'm going to give you the power to do real magic. And here we go. My only point to show here is about to start. This guy is presenting a more alpha presence. I have to control that to own the room. Taking steps to convince him I have the power to give him more power is how I will win the room. Watch how I use this and a body trick to make more of an impact. Look me in my eye, I'm for real. All right? Now, I want you to pick someone to be your spectator. He's going to do magic. You're going to be the spectator. I'm just going to watch. All right? So first off, you got to pick a card, right? So to be fair, go ahead and just name one as you go by. Anyone you want. Here you go. And for Tisha.
7 of hearts.
Got it. Now you're going to sign your names to those cards. And put an M next to yours because you're the magician. I'm going to give you that power. Just like that. You're the spectator. I don't have to do nothing for you. All right? So the job as the magician, right, is to find the spectator's card. So we lost that card in the pack. So now it's your job to find it. But you're a magician. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make you a magic wand. Have you heard of dowsing rod? It's like a wishbone. They walk around with a stick. They say you can find water with it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
This is your dowsing rod, Antonio. You're going to hold it by the edges right here, and you're going to hold it out. That's your magic wand, bro. Yeah, okay, so it all makes sense, right? Not one bit, does it? You didn't feel it?
He was like, boom.
All right, wait, check this out. Watch. I know in some worlds you might think I'm staring you down right now. I'm not. We're going to make this simpler. All right, check this out. Move this box out of the way here. We're going to take the cards. Look, now I'm going to spread them across. To my hands. Right? I want you to touch my thumb with that card. I'm taking a risk here. Now, touch it there and say unbreakable. All right, pull it away.
Stop! Why is he doing this?
Hit my knuckles. Hit it quick. My knuckles. Oh,
I can't
wait.
watch stuff like this.
Oh, man.
Now look. Okay, wait. So do you feel like you got some power now?
Yeah, man.
All right. Check it out. Come on back, Tisha. All
can't be watching
So
stuff
this has
like
been
that.
fair. This has been fair the whole time, right? We brought out the cards. You selected the card that you wanted. You selected the card you wanted. You got your card folded up now. It's a magic dowsing rod, right? The idea is to catch your card. Now don't use reflections in the glass. What I want you to do is just feel it. Just feel it in your head. And I promise, I guarantee you that as you go across here, when you decide to stop on a card, you will have found Tisha's card.
My car, Antonio?
Doesn't even matter. He's going to feel it. You felt that, right? It happened right then, didn't it? Like it just changed her card, right?
I'm guessing.
You guess. You need to have a little bit more confidence.
Yes,
I gave you power. It's not true. But wait. But wait. I feel it. I feel this from you. You got like an aura going right now. Check this out. You had yours. What was your card, Tisha?
You tell me what it was.
You find it for me. Where is
It's
it?
not in there.
You know why? Because he's got real power. When he touched that deck, he didn't just find your card.
Well,
There's no way that is my car. How did he do that?
Now wait.
How did that car?
Now wait. You're a magician,
Wait a
right?
minute, though.
You're a magician, right? I didn't explain something at the beginning. Remember this pack of cards sitting there with this folded card in it? It was sitting right there before we even started,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it
You could have
was.
said to me, what was that about? And I would have told you that in here I keep a folded up card of my favorite magicians, like their autographed card. I keep it. It's like good luck to me, man. I want you to hold your hand out for me. Watch. Plain as day. You getting this? Yes. You getting this? Come your hand a little closer so they can see it. Watch. This has been out in the open, plain as day, the whole time. That's the card that was in there.
Open it.
Oh, I don't know why I'm putting the cards away.
I said, this is your card. How did your card?
Your card was sitting in that box since the beginning of the trick. You know magic, bro.
that's crazy.
I'm confused. I am.
And Antonio ain't gonna tell you because he know magic now. He on our squad.
There's nothing
He
extra.
can't tell me how he
He wasn't gonna
did.
tell you anything.
There's nothing extra. There's nothing extra. All the
I
cards are
said
here.
Antonio. Okay, so, but wait a minute though. Okay, forget it.
story of Pandora's box. Mythology. Now, how the story goes, and I'm not trying to like act like you don't know it, but just to reiterate, was that they told him not to open that box. You know, they got curious.
Now we have Mythos. This is really polished, and I'm used to maneuvering through it. So here I'm able to really wow them now that all the induction work has been done. You will notice that I've been looking to my left, like I don't want to get caught showing them these effects. This is intentional. It finishes the mood, and it just flows now. They watch in anticipation and await the eventual outcome.
So they opened the box, and all the fear in the world just flew out. But the moral of the story was there's a little bit of hope in there, right? Left behind, right? So, you know, while these are all things that we don't really believe in anymore, there's still like, you know, a grounded lesson in that. You know, there's a moral in that to be learned from, right? And that's what we're going to do here. This is Pandora's box. And I want you to think of a card that symbolizes a fear you have. That you ain't afraid to admit, like maybe you don't like spiders. Fair enough. You feel what I'm saying? So you can pick like an 8 of any kind, because the 8 would symbolize the 8 legs. Do me a favor and just write spiders on there. So all I want you to do is talk about something you hope for. Money. A lot of people say money, so you're in the diamond range now. So which card symbolizes money to you? What's like, you know, you might like a number. King? You want to write it?
Money.
Well, however you want to write it. I don't want you to think that I'm trying to control you. You know what a lot of people do with these fears, right? They bottle them up. They trap them. See how I'm putting it right in that box? Well, I'll just put it right there so you know nobody can get to it, right? Because that's what people do with fear. They bottle them up. You see what I'm saying? They trap them in a box. They never face them. But then we have the hope of money, right? But here's the funny thing about hopes. When you trap your fears up, you tend to destroy your hope. You know what I mean? It's like you can't ever get to that point where you think you might actually do what you need to do to get that hope to come true. So what we're going to do is we're going to destroy that hope. What was your hope symbolized by? Card, King of Diamonds, right? So I've been tearing your king up. I want that, hold that hand open for me, right? I'm going to ball this up in a ball. It's never left your sight. Wrap your hands around that. You're going to start feeling something. Remember with Pandora's box? What happened when they opened it? All the fear flew out into the world.
You didn't tear that motherfucker up, man.
Look, all the fear flew out in the world. But if you could make your fear destroy like that, what was left behind? A glimmer of hope, right? Open your hand up and see what you can do.
That shit ain't together, man. That card ain't fucking.
If it is, then you better react.
Get out of here, man. Get out of here, man. How you do this shit,
Hey, man, look. I'm going to leave you a memento. Look. Antonio. Get that.
Money.
When you have that on you, you'll always be able to get some money.
Hell no. How'd you do that, man? Can't tell.
You did it. It's magic.
I
How you with?
You felt it.
You felt it, man. You made
I
that.
seen you trembling when it happened. You know what I'm saying? I seen it. That's crazy, bro.
Stuff like that, man. The world's...
You tore it up in my face, though. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, I even showed it to you after I tore it up. Yeah, the cards are all legit.
Where the box at, man?
That was the box. I put the cards back. Look, if you look, it's still, we got one switched around, but it's still in the same new deck order. Except what was the cards? 8 of hearts? Gone. King of diamonds? Gone. Everything else, or gone. Everything else still there.
Done, you know what I'm saying? He's amazed. I gotta go use the restroom.
Look. Wow, guys, I really want to thank you for following me on this journey here. We started with facts and what we did there with that method and the extras that came along with that process and philosophy, and now we have Pathos, and we have these routines with emotional response that you can disregard. You can do these crazy transpositions and transmogrifications and card effects, or you can do these really powerful emotional routines if you choose. But between the two and the gimmick I've shown you with power switch, You need to go out and do this stuff, guys. The fold is simple. When people actually try it and it works for them, it's the simplest switch ever. You got TNRs, it's a multi-tool. You got to go out there and try this, because between these 3 pieces I've given you, I can't think of any signed card effect or signed pretty much anything effect that you're not going to be able to accomplish. So here's the toolkit. Here's what's allowed me to go out and promise the world to people when I do magic. To tell them that I know I'm going to do something that you've never seen before. And I deliver. That's what I do. And this is my toolkit for that. This has been the bare bones of what it is that's been able to get me far in that area of magic. So now I offer it to you. And I hope you take it and you use it and you find a good use for it and it serves you well. And I want to thank you.